Oh, hello.
Oh, hey.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Uh, I'm good. By
What?
what do you mean by it?
By me, I mean I'm Felicia, one of your hosts. You can find me at Felicia3 on Twitter and Instagram. Who the fuck are you?
Hi, I'm Jesse. You can find me on Twitter at @OutByNight.
And hey, the two of us plus Beth are the Sleepy Idiots Club. And that also includes you listening. You're part of the club. You might be thinking to yourself, I didn't ask. I didn't actually do, I didn't sign up for any clubs. Well, too fucking bad. You're in it. And if you want to talk about that and how you feel about being roped into the club, go ahead and go to www.idiots.fm and click on the link to our Discord. You can talk to us and say, hey, I don't want to be in the club. And we'll say, too bad, you're in it.
I'll be like, get the fuck out.
And then you can go rate us on podchaser.com or Apple Podcasts and then tell us, how upset you are about the overall experience.
We're gonna try to get Beth in on these.
Yes, we
Yeah,
have been
come up.
talking about how to do that.
Yeah,
and just
because the
haven't.
format will change.
Yeah, we haven't worked on that yet, but it'll happen soon.
Yay. We'll get her in here.
Yes.
Felicia.
Jesse.
What's up in your life?
Wow, I didn't write anything down for this week. Probably because nothing happened. That might largely be a factor.
Yeah, that's good.
I started playing The Sims again.
On your janky laptop?
On my janky laptop that's only for Sims at this point. I fixed it. I've talked about this, but I've installed a fair amount of mods on The Sims and broke it to the point where I couldn't save the game anymore. Like it would just revert back to a previous stage. So I fixed that and it's playable again.
Hell yeah.
I like to sit back and build some Sims houses. It's very relaxing. So that plus some Animal Crossing, although I'm not super enamored with Animal Crossing. It's a lot more boring than I anticipated. I'm still logging in every day to do my tasks, but it's not the most gamiest game there is.
That's how I feel about it too.
Yeah. And plus I have like $1 million loan right now that I'm never gonna fucking pay off, and it's a little too real. So
You gotta sell those radishes or whatever.
Dude, I don't get I don't like this economy. I think one of the problems with Animal Crossing, as like opposed to other kind of similar world buildy type games, is that pretty much your only method of development, your only method of like progress is money. It's not like you do gather resources, but it's not as important. It's for stuff like furnishing your home. So it's not like a resource based economy. It's like fish, catch bugs, sell them, try to get enough money to pay off your house.
And you collect animals.
Yeah, and they're your neighbors. I don't know, man. I'm probably gonna be doing it for at least a while because I feel like guilty about it's so stupid, but like Animal Crossing fucking shames you if you stop because your villagers will be like, where did you go? I didn't see you. So like that aspect alone will probably keep me playing for a while.
I have never understood this sentiment.
I know, and it's
like Neopets and all that stuff. I've never understood.
I was hard into Neopets. I don't know, it's a personality flaw.
I don't know if it's a flaw. I think it might be empathy, just in like overdrive.
Well, that's a nice way to put it. I think it might be psychosis.
Well,
other than that, I can't really think of anything I did.
You've had to work in a hot ass office.
Yeah, dude. I was told by like everyone at the fucking company before we started having to go into the office that it was always freezing cold in there. So, and it's been like in the 50s out anyway. So I've been dressing in like sweaters and shit. And then oh, I don't know who exactly, but they fucking cranked up the heat to the point where in the afternoon, like the heater doesn't stop. It is continuously blasting. So I had to get a
It should
fucking,
be
I had to,
illegal.
I know. I had to get a desk fan. And even with it, which is it's a lot better, but even with it on, I can feel it like doing battle with the heater.
When they're blasting the heat, what is the temperature outside?
Like at that point in the
Yeah,
afternoon, probably in the 70s.
that's fucking
Yeah, it's
unacceptable. You
insane.
can't do that.
There's no fucking reason, and I do not know who controls the thermostat.
That's not good.
I also I said this, I posted this in just our little chat, but the like second or third day that I was in the office, I was in a stall in the bathroom and somebody walked in and I could not see who it was because I went to like the second to last stall and they stopped in front of the mirror, which is right when you walk in.
Uh-huh.
And they like fucking shouted, "Greetings and salutations!"
On the phone, I imagine.
No,
No.
they walked into the bathroom and said that to themselves in the mirror. And I don't like, I was like, did they see my feet under the stall and say that to me?
No, no
Or
way.
I don't think so. I don't think they knew anybody else was in the bathroom. And they like they went and they came out and said some just sounds. It was something like whoa.
What the fuck?
And then I think what happened is they realized somebody else was in there because they got super quiet all of a sudden and walked out.
Holy Christ.
And I wish to God I knew who it was. But the thing is, it's a fairly, like, there's 100+ employees at this company. And until a couple days ago, I didn't ever have to interact with anybody who wasn't in my team of like 6 people. So even if I saw a face, I wouldn't know who it was.
I think it's better that you didn't recognize the voice. That would be awkward.
Yeah, dude, I'm sure they were embarrassed as hell.
Yeah.
But like, they got off scot-free because I don't know who it was.
I want to say that's an insane person, but I could see myself doing it.
But
I talk to
like
myself.
I'm not above doing it when I know I'm alone, but
Yeah.
to just walk in hot like that, not knowing if anybody else is in there, like not checking, that's bold as hell. And I really want to know, like, please in our Discord, tell me what you would do in that situation. You're in the bathroom, somebody walks in and goes, "Greetings and salutations."
A fucking serial killer might as well have walked in.
Right.
I would be completely still.
That's what I did, is I like pretended I wasn't there. I didn't even fucking breathe, like cut off midstream.
Oh no.
I
That
just
is frightening.
right.
What do you do?
I don't know. My instinct was to freeze and pretend I didn't exist, but I want to know if there's anybody out there who would have replied and what you would have said.
Yes, there's a type of person who does that.
Yeah, there for sure is, and they would have matched that energy and accent
It's
and
Steve.
everything. Well, yeah. I also want to hear, because I feel like everybody has a weird like public bathroom experience. Like
Yeah.
somebody talked to you when you were clearly not there to be talked to. I just want to hear people's weird public bathroom experiences and if they would have talked back.
I don't think I've had one as an adult.
Well, there's
But-
several reasons for that, I think.
That's true. I had there was one in like first grade where some kid like kicked the door in while I was
Oh
pooping.
God.
That fucked me up for a while. That might still be actively fucking me up.
There was an incident, not quite that violent, but like I was in a public bathroom and someone's fucking kid peeked under the stall.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
ever since then, I'm like, I hate using public bathrooms.
That's happened to me too.
Oh, dude, I was in I was in Disneyland with our group of friends, and it was like a restaurant / bowling alley, and I had to use the bathroom and went in, and then it was like a relatively small bathroom, but there were a couple stalls, and
Mhm.
while I'm in the stall, somebody comes in with like 3 fucking kids, and they're running around the bathroom, and I like again just froze. Like dead silent, because I'm thinking in my mind like they're gonna start just crawling under the stall.
Yeah.
And I was gone for so long 'cause I was waiting for them to leave that by the time I came out, everyone was like, "What happened to you?"
Dude, I wonder if there's been like psychological studies about this because I feel like it's different. If you're in there alone and someone comes in, you absolutely like freeze. You do that.
I
But
guess,
if
like,
there are people in there when you go in there, it's
yeah.
fine.
If there are people like, if I'm in a stall peeing and someone just respectfully walks in and goes into their own stall and pees, like, that's normal public bathroom behavior. It
Yeah.
is not normal public bathroom behavior to not check that nobody else is in there before you decide to start talking to yourself.
Greetings and salutations.
She really wound it up and used an accent and everything.
What the fuck? I
I
gotta
know, dude.
know.
I know, but I'll never know.
She had like maybe she's in a play
She was
where she's
practicing that one simple line.
could maybe that's her one line in the play.
What if I would just responded, "Hail and well met, friend"?
I think it would have been
Do you think she would have
justified.
screamed?
I think she wouldn't have said anything and walked out.
Walked out?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
I feel like the person who says greetings and salutations is not gonna be gregarious.
Was
They're
also
gonna be
not like
mortified.
it was like 11 or 11 a.m. It wasn't like, you're there super early and the office is dead. There's a fair
Yeah.
amount of people.
That's so fucking weird.
I know.
God damn, that's incredibly weird.
Yeah. Hey, how was your week?
I need a vacation real bad.
Yeah.
All through the week, I've like felt my brain misfiring.
Ugh.
Uh,
You've been doing a lot of like learning of new stuff, right?
yes, yeah, and it's fucking like I don't know what it's doing. It's fucking with me. Normally, I don't have any issues learning, but this is like a fire hose of information,
Yeah.
and it's overwhelming. And my coworker was out last week, so I was working
Ugh,
more.
dude.
So I went to play Fortnite yesterday. Was it yesterday with you and
Yeah.
Steve? And I was actively like disassociating. It was weird. Like, there
Yeah.
was like 3 or 4 times where Steve would say something and then I would say the same thing
Mm-hmm.
like 3 minutes later.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's how I know that I need a vacation.
Well, I also imagine that well, you had just come out of D&D too, so it
Yeah.
wasn't like your first activity of the day, and it was pretty not late, but relatively late for you.
It was relatively late and I was tired and it wasn't my only activity. I did like a shit ton of meal prep yesterday.
Oh God.
Uh, and
What
I
did
don't
you
think
prep?
so. I got a vacuum sealer for sous vide
Mm-hmm.
and I bought what was supposed to be 8 pounds of chicken from Costco, but it was 11 pounds.
Oh shit.
And I put like chicken breasts in vacuum sealed bags and tossed them in the freezer. But that took kind of a long time because when you're vacuum sealing shit, you have to seal it
Mm-hmm.
twice. You get these rolls. I don't know how familiar
Yeah,
you are.
I used to have. Well, my parents had one. You like make the bag. You seal the
Yeah.
bag, the back and the front.
Yeah. So you seal one side out, which is like 20 seconds. And then you put the shit in the bag and then you seal it again. And that's like 30 seconds, sucking the air out and then resealing the other side. And I also like found these vacuum seal bags that have steam vents in them. And I made like 8 cups of rice and I just like put 8 or 10 ounces of rice in each one of those bags and threw it in the freezer with the chicken breasts. So
Yeah, meal prep, like it sounds nice and it sounds like, you don't have to do any work throughout the week, but it is a lot of work for one day.
yeah, it is.
You
And
just do all your cooking one day of the week.
I think I'm not doing that chicken breast shit again
Yeah.
because I hate how it feels. I really can't stand how chicken feels. Like raw chicken is gross. So I think what I'm gonna do is like just buy frozen chicken breasts
Yeah.
and then vacuums because I'm fucking freezing them anyway.
What you could also do is make a bunch of bags ahead of time and
Well,
then
that is what I did,
oh,
but it still takes so long.
yeah.
It was like I think it was like 12 chicken breasts, which is gonna last me a while. And That's one of the really cool things about sous vide is that you just preheat the water and then you put that shit in there frozen, and 3 hours later is good to go.
Does Miriam eat your prepped meals too, or is this just you and then she makes her own shit?
It's just me. She gets Cook Unity.
Ooh, what's that?
We were doing what's the fucking one from Dynamic Banter?
Yeah, Factor.
Factor. We were doing Factor, but they had a thing happen where there was like plastic in the food, and I went nuh-uh and went looking for alternatives, and I found this one called Cook Unity, which it's like local chefs.
Ooh,
And I think we have like 4 or 5 local chefs, and they'll put their whole menu on there and you just pick, and then they ship it once a week.
that's pretty sick.
And it's 6 meals for like currently $89.
Whoa, that's pretty good too.
Yeah, it's not bad. And they taste good. And
Okay.
you can either like microwave or put them in the oven.
One of my issues with meal prep is we have talked about this personally, but I can't eat the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
I'd rather die.
Yeah,
uh
that's how Miriam is too.
yeah. But like I'm sure it's super handy. One of the things that I'm having to do again now that I have to go into an office twice a week is like prepare food ahead of time that can easily be eaten at a desk and doesn't use the tiny kitchen.
Right.
Which sucks. So I get it, and it's probably a good thing to do and a smart thing to do, but I'm probably never going to be that person.
I do not need variety.
Yeah.
So I'm like eating either chicken breast or salmon every day. I've been
Yeah,
doing that for
you
like a
have gone
month.
on record to say if you could like drink a shake with all your nutrients for the day, you would do
Yeah, I actually tried it,
that.
but it was like too much of a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And yeah, I didn't feel like cleaning that shit like 3 times a day. But I'm doing pretty well with this new system. We haven't like DoorDash. We DoorDash something this weekend for the first time in like a month and a half, I think.
Damn. I've been doing pretty good with no DoorDash too, but this week I've done it a couple times. But my rule, I have new rules. If I resort to ordering DoorDash, it has to be under $30.
Hmm,
Uh
that's a good rule.
and like I can never do twice a day, even if it's like a Safeway order and a meal.
Yeah.
Um
Nothing makes you feel like a lazy piece of shit more
yeah.
than like door dashing. I think I've done it like 3 times before.
I probably have too, but I think I was just like pretty much stopped cooking at one point and I was just door dashing everything.
Yeah.
Now it's like my record is maybe 3 times a week, and that's on a very like strange week. It's been like since I've been having to physically be gone all day and I don't want to come home and cook. But then
Right.
I had Chipotle and it fucked me up for 2 days. So, you get what you pay for.
What kind of stuff do you eat at work?
I've been taking like cheese and crackers and deli meat and just kind of doing like a charcuterie
Just
situation.
making grown up Lunchables.
Basically, yeah.
Cool.
And then various like pickable snacks that I can just eat throughout the day. It's so boring to be there that I feel like I'm eating just to have some excitement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, good
Sucks, dude.
times.
I know.
The heat situation, that would be a no go for your boy.
Yeah, a lot of it's a no-go. But I feel like every single time that I've had to come back home, it's taken me back a different way. And I've discovered so many interesting routes between my office and my home.
Like Waze or something?
No, just I'm just using Google, or not Google Maps, whatever comes with the Apple Maps, I guess.
Oh, I haven't been out on the road for a while. I don't know what's good.
I don't either, and it's probably not the best option because it doesn't seem to know what it's doing, but at least it gets me there.
Yay, scenic routes. Hey,
Hey.
what did we watch last week?
Well, we watched a thing that's not on your list anywhere, and that's Creator Clash.
Oh, yeah, shit. I totally forgot to put that on here.
That's not in chronological order, but we watched that this past weekend
Yeah.
because we had two, I don't even want to call them friends because it's not like, ooh, my friends fought in Creator Clash. It's people I know peripherally.
Yeah.
Two acquaintances were fighting in Creator Clash. We also had two friends that were there in the audience that we were trying to scan for the whole time.
I saw one of them one time.
Yeah, I saw our friend Matt a couple times. The other one I think was Shannon was sitting back too far.
Yeah.
But it was kind of fun because we had, the 2 people that were there, we had, like, 4 people at somebody's house watching, and then, like, 6 of us were watching via live stream, and we were all kinda texting throughout the experience. And I think the best thing about Creator Clash, for anyone who doesn't know what it is, it's a charity boxing event with YouTubers and various other social media, like, micro celebrities.
Yeah, and they're not fucking around.
No, they do
They
take it
actually hate
very
each other.
seriously. Like, they hire trainers to try to learn how to box before this event, and they have I think they usually have, like, 6 months notice, but there were a couple of late joiners, including our friend Will, who didn't have that much time to train. But I think one of the best things about it is that these are not professional boxers. These are people who had a couple months to
Yeah.
train, the best person they could hire for whatever money they make. And they think that they're going to be incredible until they get hit in the face. Uh,
There's a famous Mike Tyson quote where he says, "Everybody's got a plan until you get hit in the face."
Yeah, and you can see the moment in
Yeah,
people's faces when
yeah,
they're like, "Oh, that's a lot harder than I expected it to be."
yeah.
So that's the fun part. I think it gets less fun when people are too good at it.
It does. There was one guy who I saw, they do like these little opening videos for each person,
Mhm.
and they showed him training. And I don't know if you remember this, but I was like, is that guy fighting or was he like a trainer? Because he looked so good in the video
You
that I
know
was
which
like,
guy it was?
that guy's a literal boxer. He was the chess
Oh,
boxing champion
yeah,
guy.
yeah. Yeah, there were a couple people that had boxed before.
Well, he dismantled whoever he was fighting,
Yeah.
and I saw that one coming.
The matches were definitely a lot more even than last year. They really tried to match weight class and experience and, like,
Yeah,
training time, and it showed because most of the fighters lasted most rounds. So there were 5 rounds total, and last year people were KO'd in the first round. This
yeah.
year, a lot of the fights, at least even if it was really sad, they went all 5 rounds. Um
Marisha Ray's.
yeah. There were also
So
a lot more faces that I recognized this year,
yeah, same.
but it was fucking way too long.
Yeah, certainly
We
too long.
we didn't even stay for the last match and it was over 5 hours. So yeah, they just invited too many people. They need to hone it in a bit.
It started at 5 p.m. Eastern, and I think when we left, it was like 10:45 or
For me it was
10:30.
like 2 to 7 something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
too long.
too long.
I think for Creator Clash 3, I might start like an hour later.
Yeah, the first, like, hour to hour and a half was just showing, like, training videos and highlight reels from last year, and they showed the exact same videos before every match. So it was
Yeah,
really just fucking pointless.
and there was
Uh,
nobody in the arena.
no.
So like, not even the fucking people going there live were showing up yet, but
Right.
they were broadcasting. It was weird.
Yeah. So it was a really good time, but it's only their second year doing it and they still have some things to hone in. But we were watching for our friends to support them, and one of them did great. One of them got knocked out, but still fought real well, I'll
Yeah.
say.
Well, also Harley was fighting a fucking professional wrestler
Yes, I
who
was
was
purposely leaving it vague in case anyone's going to be watching it on video on demand, but we
oh,
can,
sorry.
that's okay.
I'll beep it if I think about it. Otherwise, sorry for the spoiler.
I think
But
people probably know by now. It's all over Twitter.
it's true. The
There's gifs.
the professional wrestler like did not look like a boxer, but he was I think at least like 3 or 4 times faster than Harley
He
was.
was very fast,
And
and
he was
even
just
though he
chasing
was
him.
Harley had like 4 to 6 inches on him, but he was like a wide guy with a good like stance. He was
Yeah.
unmovable and very fast.
Yeah, super fast. And he was just like shoving him.
Yeah, he was big
Literally
time
shoved him out
muscling
of the
Harley.
ring.
Yeah, which was really entertaining, but also you're like, "Oh god, I know that guy." Like,
Yeah, I
get
was
up,
like, "Oh
I
shit."
hope.
To me, it looked like it fucking hurt.
Well,
you
he fell, like, on equipment,
yeah,
like,
that's what
on
I
recording equipment.
if you've ever even, like, fallen by accident on something that's awkwardly shaped, you know
Yeah,
exactly it sucks.
right. He also, at one point, got his head punched into a camera.
Yeah, yeah, that shit was crazy, but it was that wrestler guy just, like, shoving him around the ring.
Yeah, but they're buds, and he
Yeah,
was they were all hugging it out after the matches.
and Harley lasted a round or 2, I can't remember, but he, like, held his own against a professional athlete, which is
Yeah,
pretty
I
good.
wanna say 2, I
Yeah,
think.
I think it was too.
Yeah, but he did get KO'd.
Yeah, but fun. I had fun last year and this year, so I'll probably
Yeah.
watch the next one too.
Yeah, it's very entertaining.
We watched Mystery Science Theater 3000 in VR.
We did. It was cool because it was like the commentators were in the room with us.
Yeah, the silhouetted dudes look like they were in the theater,
Yeah.
and that was
Uh,
a cool and fun experience.
Considering we essentially do that, like we do what they do anyway in that setting, it was kind of just like having a couple more funny friends there.
Yeah,
So it really worked in the VR theater setting.
with Mystery Science Theater 3000, their shit's written beforehand, so they hit you with the bangers.
Uh,
They work all that stuff out.
I did fall asleep because, again, having to get up real early and go into the office is fucking with my sleep schedule. And I go in super, super early. So by the time I come home, eat, take an edible, and then am in the VR headset, I'm like already napping.
Yeah, it's a fine place to fall asleep.
It really is. It's so nice and relaxing. You just maybe just shout Felicia every so.
I do. I usually like move to the chair to the left of you,
Yes, you
and I'm
do.
like, "Hey,
And then I
Felicia,
wake up and I just hear, "Hey, Felicia."
what are you doing? You sleeping?"
That is what I woke up
And
to.
Beth,
Was, oh.
or everybody in VR will start doing bits about you sleeping.
Well, I am at least on push to talk, so if I do fall asleep full
Oh,
snore,
yeah,
you're not gonna hear it. But, if for people who aren't, you can hear them fall asleep, so you know
such
right
as Beth.
away. Such as Beth, who they call Sleepy Felicia.
That's true.
Uh,
That's a great
yeah,
nickname.
but I'm sure, like, you just see me slump over.
Yes, I could tell. You can tell because VR like tracks your head movement, so
Mhm.
you can see when people are
Stop moving.
yeah. Plus you're in VR, you're looking at the screen, so if you're in your like watchy position, you're basically in that position for the whole time. So even if it changes at all, I'm like, "Oh, that person's probably asleep."
Yeah.
It's usually Beth or Brett.
Yeah.
Oh, but it was Merlin's Shop of Mystical Wonders that we watched.
I feel
And
like I watched a good portion of it. I don't remember at what point I fell asleep.
it was batshit crazy. It was like, you know, the grandpa and the kid scenes from Princess and the prince. God damn it! What am I
Princess
thinking?
Bride?
Princess Bride. I kept
Yeah.
wanting to call it the
Princess
Princess
and the
and the
Frog.
Diaries. Uh, the Princess Bride. They had one of those with Ernest Borgnine, but the quality of the film was completely different. So they certainly just stitched two movies together.
Oh, God.
And they had like Ernest Borgnine record his shit later, I think.
Probably.
But it's an awful movie, which makes it great for Mystery Science Theater
Yeah.
3000. Yeah, it was really fun in VR actually.
Yeah, it was a
I
good
think we're
time, and
gonna do more.
yeah, we are.
Hell yeah, I want to see hobgoblins.
I don't know what that is, but I'm sure it'll be a good time.
There's some Mystery Science Theater 3000 bangers. We got hobgoblins, we got Manos, we got werewolf.
Don't know what any of those are.
We watched Predestination for our watch along this week,
Yeah,
but we've already watched it,
we have.
so it'll drop on Friday.
It's one of the most batshit insane movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was fun. It was really fun watching it with you
It
and
was
Beth.
a very good pick for a watch along because if I had watched that in my own time, I would have turned it off and been upset about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it got you real good though.
It really did.
I think it's the hardest you've laughed in a
For a
watch along.
while, yeah.
I think maybe all time in a watch along.
Well, I laughed very hard when you were pointing out, Frankenstein and the ice cube,
Oh yeah, that's right.
yeah.
That's
But
right.
yes, it was a very good, breakdown moment.
Predestination's a fun movie. Me and Miriam, I can't remember if I talked about this show last week, but there's a show called School Spirits on Paramount Plus.
Yeah, you did a little bit.
Miriam and I watched the whole season of that. It's okay. It's good.
It
But
was
it's like,
okay, it was good.
yes, it was one of those things where I was very into it. And then we got to the final episode and it didn't wrap up like I thought it should. It's one of those things where it's a show where you could easily feel it being canceled after a season,
Yeah,
but it's written for the second season in the first season's
yeah.
finale.
Before you said anything about it, I'd never heard of it, so I'd be surprised if it got renewed.
Heather had heard of it on TikTok,
Yeah.
but I have no clue how like ubiquitous it is. I found it by
Yeah.
accident. I was just like looking through Paramount Plus and I was like, oh, what's this?
Yeah.
It's interesting though, like it's a fun premise, but there's some issues with the writing, but for the most part, I got around that and just was having fun, but they kind of like I feel like they fumbled the finale a little bit.
For a YA series, how would you rate it as like I guess a teen watching it?
So, it's weird because it's got cursing.
Well, teens curse.
Yeah, but I think this could have been PG-13. There's like 0 sex. So I'm
Huh.
not sure why the cursing, but there's like sporadic cursing in there, which makes it different than most YA. It does not really have the feeling of a CW show.
That's good.
It's got more of it's like a mystery. So it's like a
Yeah.
YA, they're solving a mystery type of thing. I don't know. It's among the better ones that I've seen, I think.
That's good.
They just fumbled the finale. That was it. I was having like a lot of fun up until then.
Yeah, I probably thought that they would have a season 2 to be able to expand.
Yeah. But if a show like that has to, I feel like you got to plan for one season. Like, yes, leave it open ended, but
Even like you should make it as complete and like good as you can. Like make it as compelling as you can so people want more.
yeah, this is the era of shows getting canceled.
Yeah.
Like,
And
there's
like
not a
even
lot of
good
shows that
ones.
go past 2 seasons, and there's a lot that don't go past 1 season.
Right.
Yeah, because the streaming services are just looking for like home runs.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't deliver that, they'll cancel your shit.
Yep.
And they don't care about the audience.
True.
You know, the time for asking
Any questions?
is right now.
Hi,
Hi.
we have an Ask Reddit question that I put here.
Okay.
It is, what is the worst sequel you have ever seen?
Off the top of my head, probably Blair Witch Book of Shadows.
Oh shit, that's a good one.
Because
that was one of our
yeah, one
most
of our
fun
first
VR
random
nights.
horrors. It really was. Like it was
Yeah.
one of the most quotable. Jeffrey. There
Disemboweled, Jeffrey.
Jeffrey.
Disemboweled, Jeffrey.
A panagram.
there is the most southern sheriff. He's like a southern old guy. It's the same sheriff you've seen in a million other shitty horror movies.
Yeah, like very over the top dramatic.
But the way he's like doing his drawl is so funny.
Well, that and then at one point, one of the character was like dramatically opening a door, and then there was a pause, and then Steve goes, "Boo, Jeffrey," and we all fucking died.
That's really funny. I knew that happened, but I
Yeah.
couldn't remember what he said. So I was like in my head as you were talking, I was trying to construct that scene.
It was just so fucking perfectly timed because it was like kind of a tense moment, even for a shit ass movie. And there's dead silence.
Boo, Jeffrey. Oh man, that's so fun.
But it's a fucking awful movie.
Yeah,
and
it's real bad.
makes no sense. And even like I'm not an enormous fan of the Blair Witch Project just because it's like a shaky cam found footage movie that doesn't have like an insane resolution, but I
Yeah.
respect it. It's a very heavily lauded, very foundational in the horror genre, and like there's so much. It's almost more interesting how the movie got made than the movie itself. Like people
Yeah,
thought those
100%.
kids were actually missing and shit.
I grew up in that time,
Mhm.
so I had like firsthand experience with it, and that part was
Yeah.
really fun. And yes,
Right.
people
It's
for
like an
sure thought it
AU.
was real
Yeah.
because there was
So
no
like
like internet where you could
yeah,
debunk it with your friends really. There
right.
was an internet, but it was not
Well,
like
and
that.
and found footage as a genre wasn't as played out as it is today. It was still a relatively fresh thing to do.
That's the first time I had ever seen that found footage. I
Yeah.
thought that Blair Witch like pioneered that actually, but you know,
I don't know about pioneered, but I'm sure they popularized it.
yeah, for sure they
Um
popularized it.
Yeah. So like for the sequel to just just come from such a foundational film and be such utter dog shit is very disappointing. But
Yeah.
again, yeah, because of the setting we watched it in, it still ended up being really fun.
Yeah. That's a good call. That sequel fucking blows.
Yeah.
For me, it was The Crow City of Angels. It's one of the only movies I've ever walked out on,
Ooh.
and I'll never forget it. I'm like a huge fan of The Crow,
Mm-hmm.
like a big, big, big fan of it. And even back then, I was like a gothy kind of kid. Like, so I was a
Right.
mega fan, and I was so hyped for that sequel, and it sucked
How
so bad.
how did they make a sequel?
They used another guy.
Yeah, who?
I don't remember.
Hmm.
Hold on, I'll look it up real quick.
Do you know do you remember what specifically made it so bad it was walkoutable?
Yeah, it was fucking garbage. It was like the first one had production quality. The
Uh-huh.
second one felt like it should have not gone straight to video, gone straight to the trash.
Oh, that reminds me of another one, but sorry, continue.
Someone named Vincent Perez.
Oh, an unknown.
Yeah, but he's like a bit actor, it looks like.
Yeah, that makes sense. Just like a character actor.
Yeah, but that was very disappointing. I think I've walked out of 2 movies. I don't even remember the other one, but the
I
Crow City of Angels was terrible.
That's making me wonder what movies I've walked out on because I feel like I have, but if I paid for it, I usually sit there even if it sucks.
Yeah, and I can hate watch shit
Yeah,
normally. Like if it really sucks, I'll find entertainment in breaking it down in my head or whatever.
right. But in that situation, it's a movie that you were really looking forward to, not
Yeah.
ironically.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that one like hurt. So I was like, okay.
yeah,
I think I felt ripped off.
sure.
So yeah, I left the theater on that one. And then there's the other one, which is Highlander 2, but that's like the basic bitch one. Like
I
everybody hates Highlander 2.
I've never heard that.
Have you ever seen the original Highlander?
Nope.
Maybe we'll watch that someday. It does not hold up, I bet. But it was like a beloved nerd movie, and then the sequel really sucked.
Did they use the same actors?
I believe so, yeah.
Huh.
It was just like horse shit.
Yeah.
Back in the 80s, they would just do money grabs for sequels a lot of
Oh,
times.
sure. They
So
still do.
yeah, they still do that. So they like will drop the budget. They don't care that much about the script. They're just trying to get you in the theater.
Yeah.
I'm interested to know which movie you walked out of. Now
Well,
I'm
I know
intrigued.
I can't think of one. I almost walked out of I Am Legend after he strangled his own dog.
Oh man, yeah, I didn't like that.
No. Okay, yeah, you reminded me of another one, another very disappointing sequel. I made you watch Hell House LLC, and I know you weren't a huge fan.
I don't
I don't
think
think you hated it, but I think
no.
you found a lot of things funny that were supposed to be scary.
Yeah, but
But
I
like
do that with most horror.
yeah, I was very impressed with it as like a low budget found footage type film the first time I watched it because there are some genuinely good like creepy moments.
Right.
And it had a decent, even though it was found footage, it had a decent production value. The actors weren't awful. you know, even though they weren't like A-list actors, they were believable as idiots who were just trying to document making their own haunted house.
Yeah.
The sequel was like highly anticipated amongst myself and my Fright Day crew because we liked the first one so much.
Mm-hmm.
And when it came out, it was just awful. It didn't look like the same production company. Like even though it was found footage, it looked like dog shit. It looked like somebody had filmed it with like a fucking Nokia phone camera.
Like zero continuity.
Yeah, zero continuity.
That sucks.
Completely different characters because you know what happened to the first batch.
Yeah, right.
And it was just like almost like they were doing it the same things again. It was just like a crew heard what happened to the first batch of people and then went to investigate, and the same thing happened to them essentially. So they even reused some of the best scares from the first movie, but
Ew.
worse.
Ew.
And it was just all the actors were awful, like hilariously awful, even at acting like regular people.
Oh man.
And then they even made a third one, which I have not touched, but that was very disappointing.
They made a third installment of The Crow.
Oh god.
It might be the worst movie of all time.
Yeah, you can't. I feel like even making a sequel when the actor in the first movie passed away is in poor taste if you don't do it so well and like paying proper homage to the first movie.
Yeah, that could have been some of my anger too.
Probably, yeah.
Because Brandon Lee was awesome in The Crow. R.I.P.
R.I.P.
The guy was like tearing him to pieces with his mouth. So I told him, get off, you know, it's like, and the guy just kept eating the other guy away, like ripping his skin.
Larry Vega describes it as a scene out of a horror movie as a naked man chewed off the face of another naked man.
Hey, we got news.
Yeah, I got one thing and you got one thing.
What's your thing?
A trailer just dropped out of nowhere for a movie called The Last Voyage of the Demeter. And I don't know how familiar you are. Yeah, okay. So in Bram Stoker's book, Dracula, the way that Dracula leaves Transylvania to go to England, I guess, is via a ship called the Demeter. And you don't, like, it's not written extensively about in the book, but you do know that nobody on board survived because Dracula was coming out every night and killing and eating the passengers on the ship. And so it like crash landed in England and nobody was on board. And it was like he left in the form of a giant wolf. So it's a very like short chapter of Dracula, but it's kind of something that a lot of people who do Dracula adaptations nowadays like to play with. Like there was a 4-episode Netflix show called Dracula where they spent a little bit of time aboard the Demeter as well, which was cool until it got bad. But this is going to be a movie called The Last Voyage of the Demeter, and it looks kind of sick because it's like creature form, like giant bat creature Dracula just picking off people on board a ship.
That's rad.
It looks real fun, and that's going to be coming out in August.
Is there any famous people in it?
I didn't recognize anybody, I don't think. I don't know. I didn't look to see what like the production company was. I don't know if it's like a Netflix. I hope not. But the trailer made it look rad.
If you don't go see it in the theater, we should do a watch along.
Sure, yeah.
Hell yeah. I'm interested in that. I like the idea of people being trapped on a boat and fighting a vampire.
Yeah, and it's not even like, you know, a lot of vampire movies nowadays like to make the vampires these like creepy but sexy men who like charm their victims. I love a good vampire story where the vampire is just like a monster. So I'm excited about that.
That should be cool.
Yeah.
And the CGI looked okay?
They didn't show the monster much. Like in the trailer, it was just kind of silhouetted. So I hope that kind of continues.
Yeah.
Like it was good use of creature horror where they don't overshow the creature.
Right.
But again,
especially
it's
if it
just
looks bad.
a trailer. Yeah. I just looked it up on IMDb. The only person that I recognize is Liam Cunningham because he was in Game of Thrones. He played Davos.
Oh, yeah. I like Davos.
Yeah. Oh, and David Dastmalchian. I don't know. He was in the new Dune movie, but I don't know what else he's been in. But yeah, the rest of the crew looks like unknowns.
Cool. The Last Voyage of the Demeter. I'll go try to watch that trailer after we're done here.
It is in post-production. It says expected release date August 11th.
I have one bit of news,
Cool.
and it's that the Writers Guild of America votes to authorize a strike by May 1st if no deal is reached.
Oh,
And that's a big
interesting.
deal because the last time there was a writer's strike, content sucked for so long.
Ew.
So
Well,
we might be on for like a long winter of
okay, but counterpoint, it's already sucking.
yeah, it is already
There's
sucking.
really not a lot coming out, so it's a good time for that.
They voted like I want to say it was like 98.7% in favor of authorizing that strike.
Go for it.
And it's good. Hopefully the writers do get compensated better. I think they're getting fucked on certain things. Like the last strike, streaming was just getting big, and that was their big complaint. They weren't getting compensated right by the streaming companies. But I think now like something like that has amplified, like they're getting even more screwed over on something.
Well, I mean, shit like, HBO buying up all these smaller companies and then getting rid of all the things on their streaming site, but also not allowing them to appear anywhere else and screwing all those writers out of their entire shows. Like, I can see there were certainly events leading up to this.
Yeah, but that's total bullshit with the HBO shit. I hated that.
Yeah.
But that's my only news. I think they're
Real
probably
quick.
going to strike.
Yeah. Well, good for them.
Yep.
Real quick, I forgot. The Last Voyage of the Demeter is Universal, which makes sense because Dracula is a Universal monster. So,
Well, that's cool.
yeah.
It also makes me a little nervous because I think
Well,
the last thing they did was The Mummy with Tom Cruise.
That's fair, but that was also a big cash grab. At least this is somewhat unique.
Yeah, hopefully this is more artsy.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. Are you excited?
Yes. What? You're not excited about Beau is Afraid?
Not remotely.
What the fuck? Really?
Yeah.
But it's Ari Aster.
I don't care. I'm not a huge Ari Aster fan. I mean,
Damn.
both Midsummer and fucking oh god, what's the other one with
Hereditary?
the Hereditary? They were both good, but they're also both movies that like you watch once and don't
Yeah.
necessarily want to watch a bunch. And they're also not favorites. So, and this isn't I don't think Beau is Afraid is horror, so it's like a step
No.
outside of his normal.
For sure he's outside of his normal lane.
Yeah.
But Joaquin Phoenix is in it, and that guy doesn't miss generally. He hasn't been in a movie for
The
a
Joker?
while that I haven't liked. You didn't like The Joker?
I haven't seen the Joker. I'm just chastising him for being the Joker.
The movie was good.
Hmm.
The only problem is that it probably energized the alt-right a little bit, but that's not Joaquin Phoenix's fault. That's because those people are crazy.
No, yeah, he was just doing his job.
Yeah, he was a great Joker, though. That movie is really fun, but I don't need to see it more than once.
Yeah, I was talking about this in Fortnite the other day, and you had no idea what I was talking about. But the world collectively realized that the kid in Beau is Afraid is not CG because I think it was universally thought that the kid in the trailers and on the cover of the poster art was just a CG de-aged Joaquin Phoenix. And then the actor was like, I'm a real person. And everyone was like, what the fuck? Myself included.
You were saying that, and I forgot.
Yeah.
I meant to go look and watch the trailer again because I
If
didn't
you look
remember
at
this kid
him
at all.
and look at his picture, like he looks like a CG kid. He looks like you de-aged Joaquin Phoenix. He does not look like a real person.
That's so weird.
I know.
I wonder, were they like running filters on him for some reason?
They probably did. Like they probably did it on purpose to fit whatever aesthetic Ari Aster is going for, but it worked too well, I guess.
Well, I'm excited about Beau is Afraid. That comes out this Friday on the 21st. And I've liked Ari Aster's movies so far.
Yeah.
And I think Joaquin Phoenix picks good scripts generally. So I do not think this movie will suck, but we'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, so far he hasn't missed. So I don't have any reason not to trust him. It's just it just didn't look particularly interesting to me.
Yeah. Hey, Felicia.
Hey, Jesse.
What are we watching this week?
Well, we did mention it already, but we are/have already watched Predestination, which was a Jesse pick.
Yep.
And that should be coming out on Friday.
Yep. And it's on VOD. And whatever you do, just go in blind if you've never heard of this movie.
Yeah, I think I think that's what saved it for me, because if I knew what was coming, I would have protested.
Yes. But the way that it hits you is so fucking funny.
Yes.
Wow.
There were like 2 of those moments.
Yeah. What a great time.
I just sent you the Beau is Afraid art, and I just need you to look at it and tell me if the kid looks like CG.
You're definitely right. He does look like CG, but so does the Joaquin. Who is that above him? That's not Joaquin Phoenix again.
I don't know. The oldest one?
Joaquin Phoenix is the only one that looks real in this picture.
Well, there's definitely at least 2 Joaquin Phoenixes. The one in the front and the one in the hat.
Yeah. Is that him in the hat too?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. I thought so.
But I don't know if he's the old man or not. See, that's I assumed that they're all him, and the old man is just aged up and the kid is aged down.
Oh, I'm an idiot. Of course, it's all them.
But apparently that kid is a real act.
Yeah, they airbrushed the fuck out of that kid.
Yeah.
Jesus, that's weird. Hey, we're doing an audio podcast about it.
I know, but you can all right now you can look up that picture and tell me if that kid looks like CG.
Yeah, please do look it up. It's a picture of 4 Joaquin Phoenixes on a movie poster that says Beau is Afraid.
And tell us which out of 4, how many do you think are Joaquin Phoenix?
That's it. We did it.
We did it.
Wow. End of podcast.
End of podcast.
Another one in the books. Can you believe we've almost done 50 of these?
That's bananas.
That's kind of bananas. This is number 42.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Good night, everybody.
Why don't you have a good night about it?
Why don't you do that?
Why don't you get some Z's?
You count some sheep. Don't let the wolves get in.
Why don't you count all the sheep you can?
Yeah. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.